Joining us now on the Southwest Air and Heat Hotline is our friend Mayor Phil Cleaver from Cordell. Good morning, Phil.
Hey, Todd. How's it going, guy?
It's going great. We got that early wake up with the lightning and the wind. You guys, I'm sure, are close to an inch of rain probably in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it appears that way. I haven't heard officially, but my pool is being worked on, and it's empty, and it's not now.
Go take a morning swim in the rainwater, right? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I've got about a couple of feet in there, so it's hard to measure, but I'd say an inch-ish.
Cool. You guys do okay with power overnight? I know in Caddo County there's quite a few people without power. You guys okay over there?
Yeah, we had a little bump yesterday morning, and I think an arm from an electrical pole had come off, but I didn't hear of anything last night. Normally I hear if something's up, but we must have survived last night pretty well.
Well, good to hear out there. And, of course, we're never going to complain about rain as dry as it's been out there.
Absolutely not.
Well,
we've gotten little showers here and there that probably accumulated 1.5 to 2 inches, not counting this one.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I was down yesterday hanging out with my dad for Father's Day. His yard was all green now, so that's a good sign. Just a month ago, everybody's yard was brown.
Absolutely. You weren't watching that OU game with your dad, were you?
Oh, my gosh. Do we have to talk about that? How disappointing. We were all fired up. We're like, we're going to win this thing, and our pitching was horrible yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday, it was not sharp. And hitting was, that one guy. I hope we don't see a lot of him today.
Man, I'm telling you. Yeah, that was just crazy. But we'll see what happens. This OU baseball team for finishing, 11th in the SEC to make it into the World Series finals. It's been quite a run in the postseason.
It's a great run. And I have a feeling they'll put on their best hat and show up tonight for sure.
We'll be watching without a doubt. 6 o'clock first pitch, so I can actually stay up and watch the game. Once you get it past 9:30, 10 o'clock, Phil, I'm out.
I get you.
Well, hey,
but I appreciate you calling this morning.
Oh yeah, can't wait to keep up with everything happening in my hometown. Of course, this is the time of year that you guys plan on, the budget for the fiscal year, which starts July 1st, correct?
That's right, and we've gotten that process completed. Several meetings, small groups, and then bigger group meaning the council, a couple of times, and it's tighter. Revenues are always harder to come by, it seems like, probably about the same as last year, but you can only budget 90% of your previous year's revenues by law, and then you can adjust after that. But so that's what we had to do, so that 10% is always kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, so overall kind of a flat budget for the year, or are there increases in certain areas?
Yeah, I'd say flat to slightly up. We didn't have any cuts in services. If anything, we're going to be rebuilding a department that will increase services, but police, there are the usual things they want. There was a drone request that was turned down, but I really think eventually we need that. That's what most bigger departments are using now, and they're not totally outrageously expensive, so we'll probably look at that again.
So where are the biggest areas of need? Is there more infrastructure that you need to work on this year, or just routine maintenance?
Yeah, that's where our services have to come from. Infrastructure, poles breaking like happened yesterday afternoon. Water, we continue to get CDBG money for water lines and valves, and our infrastructure is, some of it goes clear back to the 20s or maybe even before that, and we're replacing all that, and water lines especially. So it's there. We want to also provide recreational opportunities for our citizens. Cordell Lake continues to develop, Adams Lake, whatever you want to call it. A lot of stuff going on there. Thanks to Dale Selman and his committee. We've got a lot of work going on, at ASAP, your sponsor, I noticed.
Yeah.
On that city block right there by our stoplight. I guess in Cordell you can say at the stoplight and people know where you're talking about.
Well, that's going to transform that corner.
Oh, that corner needs it. And there's a sewer line right in the middle of where they would build a main. So they're having to work around that, and I think that's DEQ. So taking a little longer to get that relocated since it's a major line that runs right through the alley there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that. So, but they have been putting the gravel down, and they've been leveling over there. So I'm sure it won't be long before we start seeing iron and stuff going up.
Yeah, it won't be long, but that manhole is still right in the middle of their property, and we'll get that figured out, and they will, and we'll work with them, of course.
Do they have a timeline for when they hope to be up and running with the new store?
I haven't talked to their construction guys lately, but if Burns Flat is any indication, we're probably still a year out.
Okay. Any other new businesses and things popping up around Cordell lately?
Well, you always hear rumors of housing and different things like that, and I've talked to some people that actually presented plans to us for not just one or two, like 15 to 30. And I've got to believe they know something that's going on in the area. Cordell, I wish Cordell could support that on its own, but I'm not sure about that. But Burns Flat activity and all of that is certainly in the cards, I would think.
Yeah, we just heard on the news today another business relocating out to Burns Flat in the aviation industry. So I would imagine a lot of those people would look at places like Cordell for housing.
Well, yeah, all the little area towns have to be ready for that. If it ever develops like, it's got the potential to develop, and the whole state's got their eyes on it, even renamed it.
Yeah.
Even's on the weather map now. So, we probably are going to have to support a lot of their housing opportunities. Hopefully, a little bit of retail. Although that's hard in any little town, retail is drifting away in towns the size of Cordell, and we need to do a lot to foster that, but there's certain things you just can't control much.
Without a doubt. Well, back to the budget for just a second. Anything else of note people should know about the budget for next year?
Oh, we're going to do half of the lights downtown. They're very expensive, and they're like $75,000-$80,000 to replace those decorative lights. Just the lights, not the poles, with a different higher tech type light. And we'll do half of those. I think around $35,000. That was a cut. We'd like to eventually put new grates in our sidewalks where the water runs through the bottom. These are original from that Ice-T grant from, I think, 99 in that area. And they're getting tired. So, like stainless, if you ever did that, you're looking at a pretty big number. So we'll have to wait on that. Whether we do stainless or not, I don't know. But just here and there things. We want to support our main protection sources, fire and police, and to a degree we're looking at restructuring EMS. I think that'll be important to be maybe an income generator for us.
Does that have something to do with what's happening like out at Burns Flat and areas like that, or? Well,
I mean, that was a little bit of a surprise at what happened there, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that's in our territory. Probably wasn't to begin with, but it may be now. I don't know as far as area to respond. They call it something, but. So we'll see, and hopefully they'll be able to put their department back together.
Yeah, for sure. Talking with Phil Cleaver, mayor of Cordell, Oklahoma. We've been talking about the budget. Of course, you guys have done some neat things with new signage and banners over the years. Are you continuing with things like that?
Yeah, we're going to put directional signs in town, working in conjunction with ODOT. And Dale Selman has an incredible laser cutter that can cut signs just pretty much exactly like you want them. We have one up that's a really nice sign east of town, but it may be a little small. So we're kind of learning. When you drive by at 45 or 55, you got to be paying attention, or you're going to miss something. And that sign may be a little small. Dale and I and those that are involved, ODOT, will potentially. We're going to do maybe 16 to 18 of those, and we've got that in the budget. More banners. We're going to have a really nice banner go up, maybe one of our prettier ones, an Oklahoma sunset with a courthouse in the foreground, and it'll show the recreational opportunities in the very foreground with golfers and photography and fishing caricature throwing a line in. So I think that's going to be a real nice one. It says, I think it says something like "Get back to your future, Cordell," and it's tastefully done, and thanks to Kaiser in Weatherford for the help on that.
Well, and one thing you guys have always done, I mean, going back to the Main Street days, downtown Cordell still looks absolutely beautiful. Yeah, we've had a change in the landscape, a couple of older buildings that aren't there anymore, but everything else really well kept.
Well, it is, and I see people taking pictures in front of my office a lot of times, and I just occasionally, if I'm out there, I'll ask them where they're from, and I had one guy that even said, "Is this the state capitol?" I said, "No, it's not, but we wish." But it's done by the same architect as the state capitol, and they go, "Oh, right," and that's always. It's the centerpiece for sure, and they see it coming and going.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful. Well, we're in the heart of summer, so I'm sure the swimming pool is staying busy. And 4th of July, just 2 weeks away. I guess you got the fireworks stands all up and running?
Yeah, I guess there's a new law on that. But of course, it doesn't involve in town, but I guess they can sell them year-round if they choose to. So our chamber parade and activities with fireworks will be July 4th. It's on a Saturday this time. So I look forward to the parade always with my grandchild. And she'll be here, maybe even get a ride on a fire truck. We'll have to wait and see.
That'll be cool. So that's downtown on the squares where you're going to do that?
Well, I need to check on that. Sometimes they do it around the park. It's a little less onerous when you don't have to close the highway.
Right.
So I'll have to check with the chair. I don't want to say, and then I'll get 14 calls after we get off. So it could be around the park, but I'm not sure on that yet.
Yeah, I want to say last year I was up for it, and they kind of started out by the Ouachita County Activity Center, I think. So
yeah, that's where they'll line up. I think that's the lineup, and that's why I think it's around the park area. Maybe get on the highway a bit and then come back around, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't attend the chamber meetings anymore. Had my time doing that. It was very productive and worthwhile, and they do a great job. And I look forward to hearing more from Sarah and Jeremy, who's the president, on what's going on. It's always parades are a big deal, and they've thinned out a little bit, but they're still really good, and kids love them.
Well, absolutely, and one of the other things that's going for Cordell that is so great is having the Ouachita Theater. We saw The Mandalorian a couple of weeks ago. I noticed this weekend Toy Story 5 is there's the. It's amazing that you can get these first run movies in Cordell and bring people to town.
Yeah, they'll have that all summer. The first run, that was the first day on Friday, and I think they're having some kind of sensory deal maybe next week for smaller kids. They'll keep the lights on and maybe not quite as intimidating. Like mine is coming up on 2, and we're thinking about taking her. We could have taken her to Toy Story, but everybody's got to make up their own mind if their kid can make it through a hour and a half movie.
Without a doubt, sometimes I can't. It's amazing. I fall asleep sometimes.
Yeah, I got that.
We're talking with.
Go up to the cry room and take a snooze.
That's right. That's a good place for it. We're talking with Phil Cleaver, mayor of Cordell. Well, what else is going around town? You guys have been moving eventually into the old Kiwash building, right? City offices.
Emphasis on the eventually. We're still getting that going. There's few IT issues to wind up and security type things, but I thought we'd be in by now, but it shouldn't be very long. I'm not going to set a date anymore. I'll be wrong, but it's getting close. Wanted to thank all the people at the golf course, too, for putting on 2 hugely successful tournaments. The Jerry Burroughs was this weekend, and that's always a big fundraiser for scholarships. And Lynn and company do a great job putting that together. I'm so happy to get the people in town. And there was another one, I think it was a Battle at the Creek, and I think there was Calcutta involved in that. And there were tremendous amounts of cars about 3 or 4 weeks ago there. So it's getting a lot of really good play. It looks good and green, and thanks to the volunteers always on what they do. And they're the cog behind making that thing work.
Oh, without a doubt. And really, when you think about things like the golf course and Adams Lake, what you've done out there, the ball fields out at Gregory Park, it seems like there's always some kind of activity going on. And that's all a part of small town living and bringing people to town as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the quality of life is one of our biggest selling points. And adequate housing and nice enough housing. So quality of life, well protected with the police force. Fire is rated very high for a small town. That's what we have to sell mainly.
Well, and affordability is such a big deal, too. I've talked a lot about, my parents built their house on Market Street, back in the late 50s. And, there were kids all up and down the neighborhood when I was growing up and you were growing up down the road. And then all of a sudden it became kind of like a retirement neighborhood. And now there are all these young families buying these affordable homes in my neighborhood. My son loves going down to my granddad's because now he's met all these kids that live in the neighborhood. It's almost like when I was growing up again. It's kind of neat to see.
Yeah, they're back, and Californians and different states are moving in. So we are attracting a different animal than just the old root Cordellian that is still here to a great degree, but we're pulling in people from Texas and California and different places like that, which is we need to put a hand out and welcome them because children buy things and they're all over. I used to come in when either my mother would whistle, she could whistle, you could hear her up at the square. I don't know if she did that actually. And then you come in when the street lights went on.
That's right. That's what it was like growing up. Well, Phil, we sure appreciate talking to you this morning. Anything else we need to let folks know about?
I don't think so. I appreciate the opportunity, and Cordell is a great place, and we appreciate people coming to visit us, check us out, kick the curb. And speaking of curbs, we're putting new curbs in downtown that have gotten trashed by big trucks running over them. So we'll be pouring today or tomorrow on that. Same guys that are putting in the flagstone with the engraving in the flagstone. So all that's going in by the same contractor.
Wow. All right. Awesome news for downtown. Well, Phil, once again, thank you for your time. I'm sure I'll run into you next weekend or the 4th of July. We're down almost every weekend, so.
Absolutely. And Boomer, bud.
That's right. Let's get a win tonight, OU baseball. Phil Cleaver joining us on the Southwest Air and Heat Hotline. News coming up right after this.
Deer Creek Market and Variety in Hydro, the best in friendly small-town customer service, hosting everything from fresh hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef made in-house, along with fresh fruits and vegetables, grown and made in Oklahoma nuts, candies, salsas, pickles, and more. And don't forget to check out the Variety side, full of unique made-in-Oklahoma gift items. And now, treat yourself to the brand-new ice cream and coffee parlor, your new go-to spot for a sweet scoop or a fresh brew. Shop Deer Creek Market and Variety in Hydro.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
All right, 7:34. It is the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show. A light shower out by Burma, up in Dewey County. A light shower up in Fairview. All that stuff that we saw early this morning is down into southeastern Oklahoma, heading into Arkansas. John Matthews joining us now. Did all three girls wind up in your bed overnight when it got loud?
One of them did. I didn't even realize it rained until I'd opened the garage door this morning. But
you didn't hear that stuff last night?
No. Slept right through it, but apparently it was big. It was very big. Lots of rain, lots of showers, winds.
The lightning was unbelievable. We had one strike in the backyard, I believe. I mean, it felt like it, a giant flash. It was so loud it shook the house. I expected a tree to be down in the backyard, but they were fine.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
Good. Phil Cleaver, Cordell Mayer on with you this morning, and it reminded me, aren't you the guy that told me the story about that your parents, your dad, has paid more money in taxes than he actually paid for the property? Like he's owned it that long.
Well,
am I making that up?
I guess if you added it all up, I mean, they built their house, I think, in 57, and he still lives there.
Right.
And I know the valuation goes up every year,
right,
you know, when you go to assessing and all of that. But yeah, I mean, but everybody's in the same situation.
But is that not just like crazy? Like, what are we doing? Is this not a broken system? Like, how do you continue to pay? He's paid more in taxes than he did for his house. Is that not just when you think? I mean, like
it is mind blowing, and I'm all about, you know, having some reductions, you know, or maybe even just stopping property taxes for seniors. But you know, the other side of the coin is the way we fund, you know, county government and schools and stuff with property taxes. You know, your only alternative is to do like a consumption tax, probably, which just means raising the sales tax. And really, when you think about property, even take Weatherford for example. Okay, there are some younger families, but think of the people that own like the $300,000 and $400,000 houses. They're 65 plus, a lot of them.
Right.
You know, so if you freeze their property taxes, that takes a big chunk, you know, out of the county. But so I certainly don't have all the answers. I mean, I'd like to pay no taxes, but
right,
I guess we also want services too, right?
Right. But I just don't understand. I haven't sold the house. I haven't made. Yes, my house was valued at $200,000. Now it's valued at $350,000, whatever that is.
Yeah.
and I didn't make the money off of it yet.
No,
so how
I
are you raising my taxes or making me pay more on a sale that didn't happen?
Yeah, no, and it's just like, when the Democrats wanted to try to put, a tax on unrealized gains for all of us that have been in the stock market, for years. You haven't sold anything.
Nothing.
You haven't really gained. Yeah, I mean, it's a screwed up system, John, and I don't have all the answers. Fortunately, we've got 3 people running for governor that have figured it all out.
Oh, yeah.
So,
They got it all. They got it all. So, oh, boy, we're in trouble.